The new Black Wall Street. Do it right, build wealth, build life, economic empowerment, real tips, insight on the new Black Wall Street. It's on the new Black Wall Street. Here's your host.
All right, my beautiful people, man. Good day, good morning to you. Thanks so much for joining us again here on the New Black Wall Street as we present to you our feature show, the Money and Power Show, where we talk about money, economics, talk about power, politics, talk about everything that's going on in the world because it all leads back in this capitalistic society to capital. That's right. You might have heard something like this: for the love of money is the root of all evil. It all comes back to money and something going on with money. You best believe somebody is profiting right now. We can find a couple of those companies that are doing very well, things like that as well. But we want to talk about the economy. Want to talk about what nobody wants us to talk about, which is money. You can share this. I've got a guest here. You can share this on the ERGJ Enterprises page on Facebook, ERGJ Enterprises. Also just shared it to my personal page, so you can see it there as well. But thanks so much, man. I want to welcome you guys to Wall Street. How you guys are connecting? Let us know where you're connecting from, what city, what state, what country. We're broadcasting here on Facebook. We're broadcasting on YouTube. We're broadcasting on Instagram Live from our personal studio, our virtual studio here in Decatur, Georgia. And here's the deal, guys. You got free financial education. So you can't say nobody's teaching it. It's just a matter of people who want to show up and learn it, right? Free financial education for the state, for the nation here on the New Black Wall Street, the Money and Power Show. So again, thanks so much for joining us here today. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful day. I do want to make sure you guys know who I am. I'm ERGJ, your certified financial educator, CEO of ERGJ Enterprises, ERGJ Black Bazaar, and international best-selling author of the book, The Black Billionaires Club. That book that I wrote is the study of Black wealth. It's a study of the 12 richest Black people in the world today and how they built their wealth. And I just truly believe that if you want to be wealthy, that's a big if, because everybody don't want to be rich. But if you do, I recommend that you study wealthy people. Wealthy people do something different than poor people. They think different. They act different. They talk different. They walk different. They're doing something totally different than we're doing right now, the common folks, what we'll call it. You check out the book by going to the website, theblackbillionairesclub.com. It's available in soft copy ebook. It's available in French. For our brothers and sisters in the diaspora, an ebook and also audiobook. Thanks so much again. Let us know where you're connected from. Good morning to you, Queen elect Miss Carter over in Maryland. Thanks so much for joining us with us here today. I want you to hit that like button and share button if you care. If you are your brothers and sisters keeper like I am, see, I'm my brother's keeper. I'm my sister's keeper. That's why I'm here right now. Because I want to make sure that you are armed with information. Now, what you do with that information is up to you. Because here's the deal: knowledge is not power until it's applied. That becomes wisdom. Wisdom is power. Knowledge is just the acquisition of information. And many people are filled with information, but doing absolutely nothing with it. So knowledge itself is not power until it's applied. And you use that knowledge, it becomes wisdom, and that is power because you actually doing something. How many guys got some stuff that you know that you have acquired over time that you should have been doing something with a long time ago, still ain't done nothing with it? It still has not brought much value to you other than you know. So just because you know better does not mean that you'll do better. Until you actually do better, that's when you do better. Okay? So let's keep going. Our other sponsor for today, ERGJ Black Bazaar, the Afrocentric marketplace, which specializes in Afrocentric home decor, personal care products, and also Black art-inspired gifts. We want to make sure that we shop Black around here, that we promote Black-owned business, all that stuff as well. So you can do that by going to the website www.theblackbazaar.com, www.theblackbazaar.com. We ain't closed. Y'all still gonna need the black seed oil. Y'all still gonna need the sage. Y'all still gonna need some personal care products. Y'all gonna need a little bit more than the beef y'all been buying up off them shelves. Y'all gonna need some stuff that's gonna help your immune system. Right? It's gonna help boost your immune system. Everybody put guys on boost my immune system. Right now, y'all need to help your body play defense. It's absolutely silly and stupid for you not to be putting good stuff into your body right now when you hear of this particular virus that may be flowing in the earth, right? You need to be helping your body play defense. Basics of health and nutrition. My goodness, are we that stupid? Come on, people. Your health is your wealth. Everybody put that in the comments. So my health is my wealth. I can talk about money all day long, but my goodness, you're not going to take care of your body. If you're not going to eat proper foods, if you're not going to be concerned, you're going to be concerned about a virus, but you ain't been concerned about your bad eating habits for the past 15 years. Not concerned about your blood pressure. Not concerned about the diabetes. Come on now. Come on now, people. Let's get it together. Big Sis Media, our other sponsor. Again, thanks so much for helping us make this dream come true. Big Sis Media, creative design agency, to help you with your audience, with your visual and digital media. Right, and there to watch over your most critical creative needs like a Big Sis would. Here's the deal, guys. In case y'all don't know by now, where are we moving? We're in a digital age, which means that you should have some type of digital presence. And maybe the reason why you don't have digital presence because you don't have the help that you need to make sure your digital presence is visible. Well, that's what Big Sis Media does. Helps you with your website. Helps you, helps you with your graphics. Helps you in so many different ways, right? So that you can have a virtual digital presence in a digital world. What we're trying to do, we're going to help you become 2020, right? You can't keep living like it's 1999. We got to bring you to the ever-present time of now, 2020. Are you 2020 ready? Are you 2030 ready? Are you evolving as the time is evolving? Are you still trying to make calls on a rotary phone? Y'all better get it together, people. Again, let us know where you're connecting from, what city, what state, what country, as we get ready for our Money and Power show. Now, I got a special guest with me today because I couldn't just do this by myself. Y'all know I got to bring people in from the community, right, that care enough to share their wisdom with you, all that good stuff. But before we do, I got to pay homage to our ancestors with our Inventor of the Day, okay? Our Inventor of the Day, this comes out of a book, African American Inventions That Changed the World. African American Inventions That Changed the World. As soon as I find where I put my book, African American Inventions That Changed the World. And this is a brother named Mr. Benjamin F. Thornton. Mr. Benjamin F. Thornton. And let's see what he did. He brought some kind of contribution to this world, to society, a brother. Benjamin F. Thornton in 1935. Everybody putting on 1935. 1935, almost 100 years ago, basically 85 years ago. He invented the world's first telephone answering machine. You guys remember that? He invented the first telephone answering machine. That was a brother who did that. Benjamin F. Thornton in 1935 invented the world's first telephone answering machine. So today, here on the Money and Power Show, Mr. Benjamin F. Thornton, we put some respect on your name. That's right, paying homage to our ancestors, making sure we show them that we appreciate all that they've done to help us to be what we are today. And we even made some pretty dang on good contributions to this society, okay? Another thing we're going to do real quick, and then we'll bring Mr. Brock in to help us as we continue along with the show. We do want to make sure that we do a quick little coronavirus update, guys, because some of you guys, you guys kind of have to kind of get to know what's going on. So here we have a website, Corona Help. They just kind of track everything that's going on. You guys can come here. You go to other sites as well. The World Health Organization, they got a site, they got a map and all that good stuff as well. You're going to find some very interesting stuff if you start looking for yourself. And everybody put it on, so think. I want you to start getting to a place where when you get information, you think about it. Just don't react to it. You think for yourself and say, okay, what else do I need to know? Can I find out some stuff for myself? Because there's information out there and it's not hidden. But people don't see it because they're not looking. And we find what we're looking for. To currently, as we speak, across the world, infections. This would be confirmed infections. Now, we know that some people might have it and don't know, right? Probably a whole bunch of people got it and don't know because it's symptomless for the first 7 days, quite possibly. Or you could think you got a common cold and you got this little virus. I don't know. But 185,000 people across the world have had confirmed infections. Now we got to go through this and make sure you understand what's being said. That's total that had been affected since like January, right? Out of those that have been affected, they only had a confirmed death of 7,300 have been confirmed dead because of this virus. Out of 185,000 that were confirmed to have been infected. Out of that 185 that were confirmed to be infected across the whole world, not just United States, not just China, not just Italy, across the whole world, 80,000 have been confirmed to have been recovered. So 80,000 out of 185,000 that have been confirmed infected have recovered, right? We still have currently 9,800 active cases. So out of 185 that were confirmed to be infected, some of those cases have been closed. This is what the media will not, they won't go through the numbers with you. So 98,000 across the whole world are currently active cases, meaning they haven't recovered, they haven't died. They're still monitoring 98,000 people. 98,000 people across the whole world. There's a mortality rate. Now, the mortality rate just means the people that have died, the number of people, the percentage of people that have died according to the number of people that have been affected. It's a number. It's math. It may seem a little high at 3.95% until you start looking at, okay, where these people died. In other words, like Italy, for example. Italy has a 7% mortality rate. It makes you kind of ask the question, what is Italy doing or not doing? I mean, you know what I'm saying? For them to be so high, but everybody else kind of low. China has about 3%. In America, it's only 1%. Okay, it's only 1% mortality rate, which means people that actually have died according to the number of cases in America. This is stuff the media will not do. They will not break down numbers for you so you can understand numbers. Recovery rate, right? Number of people that actually recovered in regards to the number that have been infected, that are confirmed, 43% thus far across the world, right? So we have 57%. Well, we got 43 that have recovered, 3 that have passed away. That gives us 47%. So we have 53% that's still active, unknown. 53% that's still active and unknown. That gives you the whole 100% of confirmed cases that have been infected. This is important stuff to understand and to know, just to break down numbers. Now, you can go in, you can break all this stuff down. You can look at it by country. You can look at it by state. For example, I'm in the United States, where only 4,700 people have been confirmed infected. I'm in Georgia, so I'm concerned about Georgia. I come down here, I see only 121 have been infected in Georgia, but I also see only one person has died in Georgia. Only one person has died in Georgia, and that was a 67 or 76-year-old person. But in Georgia, we got the National Guard floating around right now in Georgia. So I get it. We're making decisions based off what happened in China. I get it. We're making decisions based off what happened in Italy. But guess where some stuff ain't happening? Ain't much happening over in Africa. Ain't much happening over in Russia. Ain't much happening over in Brazil and Mexico. Ain't much happening in Canada. So you got to ask yourself, okay, we're going to be very precautious on the extreme, or we're going to, figure out what these other countries might be doing. But anyway, I'm not the scientist. I'm just going to report numbers to you guys, and that is what it is. So just want to give you guys a quick coronavirus update so you can see numbers for yourself. You can go in and start looking at stuff. You can break down data yourself. You can analyze data yourself, right? So that you can be informed, right? Because when you got knowledge, when you're informed, you get out of fear. Is this helpful? Is this helpful? Let me know if this is helpful. I decided we're going to add this because your health is your wealth, right? I want you to be precautious. I want you to wash your hands, but my goodness, wash your hands after you pump gas. Wash your hands after you handle mail. Wash your hands after you go to the grocery store. Wash your hands, right? This is simple stuff. This is basic stuff. Basic health and wealth, right? Basic health and wealth. But anyway, let me bring my brother up because he's been fighting vigilant up in his area. I believe it's New Jersey, from a political side, from a community side, from a business side. I mean, he's just this is just like he is a trooper. He's the kind of guy you want in your corner. We have with us, man, a man that's in transportation. Talk to us a little bit, man. Mr. Derek Brock is in the house, brother. How you doing, man?
Good morning, good morning, good morning, brother.
Good morning
You
to you.
got me on live.
I got you on loud. Absolutely, man. Thanks so much for joining us here today. Were you able to find the stream to be able to share it out and stuff to your people?
I'm not sure. I didn't know what I had to do, so I tried something. I hope they on Facebook watching. I'm not sure.
Okay, fantastic. Well, again, the stream is on. I put it all the groups, all on my page and everything. So hopefully,
Okay. Well, I know. I'm sure you got thousands of fans that are watching and followers that are watching. So somebody's going to see this. I'm not concerned about that at all. I would just like to see the local people take a look at what's going on across the globe here.
Absolutely, man. Well, thanks so much again for joining, man. There's some people who this is their first time having the privilege of a meeting of Mr. Derek Brock. So if you could tell people a little bit about who you are, what you do, and why you do what you do.
Well, first of all, I want to say it's good to see you again, brother. You know, you don't seem like you slowed down one bit, you know, and I'm glad you reached out to me. And as I have not really slowed down myself, you know, as you know, I've been in transportation for 28 years and have now kind of switched gears. After being in business in transportation 28 years, I've after a while, you start looking at same thing with you in your career. You know, you start looking at other avenues and other opportunities. And right now, I'm currently the owner and operator of Mutual Taxi here in Atlantic City, New Jersey. Anybody in Atlantic City, come to Atlantic City, look up Mutual Taxi and Limousine on Facebook, like our page. We've been Black owned and operated since 1955. I've been very proud of that. We've been providing jobs to the community. Uber and Lyft has come into the market, and that hasn't really changed things for us as much as we thought it would. Things are kind of still holding together for us as a local-based community business. But other than that, I'm still around, and I'm in the process of reinventing myself.
In the process of reinventing yourself, I like that. Everybody put in comments on reinvent. Now you said reinvent. Now, Brother Rock, I've been following you for a minute. You know what I mean? I seen the whole. I think I seen the mechanic. You said I'm gonna go and learn mechanics. I was over here and fixing cars and fixing his own car. Obviously, I think we connected because you had an interest in investing as well. So when you talk about reinventing yourself, talk to us a little bit about that. Why that's so important? Because when I hear reinvent, I hear evolution. I hear evolve. That's what I hear. And obviously, you're older than me. I'm not quite sure how old you are, but you're here online. You're here using technology as well. So talk to us about this idea of reinvention, and what do you mean by that?
Well, I'm still rather young. I know you want to put me up in the old category, but I'm still a young man. I'll actually be 54 next month. But as far as reinventing myself, you know, we're living in the age of information and the age of ideas and change. And I think it's important that we utilize that ability to change. A lot of times, before we had technology and had the ability to reach out to people the way we do now with this social media, we were kind of limited in scope on how we could redevelop and reinvent ourselves. But thankfully for social media, it has allowed us to be able to capture an audience, so to speak, and promote yourself. And so it took me a while. You know, my partner and I, we've been partners for about 25 years. And I reached a point in the business where I started feeling like I wasn't achieving the goal or the level of business success that I really wanted to achieve. And I started looking at things like and listening to things where they say, you know, you're only going to be as successful as the people you have within your circle, you know, the closest 5 people or things like that. They tell you, you know, that's going to really determine your success is based on the people that you have in your circle. And I started evaluating that. And I realized that the people around me wasn't sharing the same interests as I have. They may have wanted to do the things, but they weren't making an attempt to do the things that I was trying to do. And I started realizing that maybe I need to start changing everything and step back from the business for a little bit, look at other business opportunities, look for different mentors, different social gatherings where you can have an opportunity to meet different people and expand your horizons. So that's pretty much way I did. I pretty much looked at the fact that I've been in transportation for 28 years, and I realized that, hey, a nice spin-off business would be auto repair, because it's closely related to what I've been doing for so long. And I learned quite a bit just being in transportation for so long that it was like a natural progression for me to maybe start thinking maybe I can take some of this other knowledge I have and expand on that. And it also would free up me some time and opportunity to do other things rather than put all my energies into one particular thing. Because I realized that, you could be a multitude of things in life. You don't have to be pigeonholed into doing one thing. So, and I'm the type of person, I like to do a lot of things. And I've realized, it can't be always about money. So I realized that, and another thing is you can't do the same thing over and over and expect the same results. Because, everybody knows that's the definition of insanity. So I looked at all of those things, and that's where the idea of being reinvented came about, because I realized that in order for things to change, I have to change what I'm doing, change the people I'm around, change the environment, and change is just going to naturally come. And the strangest thing about that it really has happened. That's why you say you see me in the community and things of that nature, because it seemed like when I did take that thought process of making and reinventing myself, I did start finding myself in circles with people who were like-minded, and I did find myself being involved in things other than just business. And so I'm really excited about this change, and I think that anybody that's been in business a long time or been in a career a long time, don't be afraid to make the change, because change is good. We resist change, and sometimes we fear change, but they said, I have a saying. I said, things don't change until change changes things. So you're going to have to change at some point in order for things to change. So I just took the leap of faith and just said, I'm going to change, and things are changing. That's the way it goes.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And so much, so much kind of talk about in a short amount of time, because I know that not only have you changed, or are you changing, ever evolving, but I also understand that in your time, you've been able to provide a lot of opportunity and a lot of guidance, a lot of.
Absolutely. Yep. That's one of the things that I'm definitely most proud of, and that to me is the goal and the benefit of being an entrepreneur, is that how much you can give back. It's not so much how much you can gain materialistically, but how much you can position yourself to give back. Because after being in business 28 years and eating some of the best restaurants and wearing some of the best clothes or whatever, you find after a while none of that stuff really matters anymore. It's like you do all that stuff, but there's really no substance to doing those things. But when you can give back and see other people's lives evolve from your mentorship, to me, that is the greatest thing of being an entrepreneur.
Absolutely, man. Hey, if you want to share real quick, just a quick, maybe story. I think you've had some people come through your business or your tutelage, and maybe they're running their own businesses now, or they got their own vehicles. I mean, it's not. If I remember, you're really teaching about ownership, although they might have been working for you. How's that kind of operate or work?
Wow, that's a great question, and it's so funny because when you do things like this, you don't do it to be recognized, or you don't do it for people to come back and say, look what you did for me, So every now and then I do get people to come to me and tell me things like that. I can remember over the summer or near the end of the summer, I was in the area of Atlantic City where we call the seawall, where people go and sit in their cars and have a beer or whatever, just sit by the water, what have you. And one of my ex-employees came up to me, and she said to me, she said, you're the reason why I've changed. She said, I've been wanting to tell you this. I said, really? And she was one of my most difficult employees, and I've hired her and fired her about 3 or 4 times. But I've always given her like a Okay, baby, take care. Good day. Love you. All right. And I've always given her like a lecture because I'm a lecturer. You know what I mean? I lecture people, and it's just by habit because I see some of the stuff we're dealing with, and I realize as men, we have to give direction and guidance in our community to our people sometimes because they don't really know. They don't have men or father figures in their lives sometimes, and sometimes they need somebody to take that authoritative position to show that they care, and I don't approach with so much a heavy hand as if I don't care. It's just that I want people to know that they have to, do what's right and do the right thing. But she came up to me and she said, you're the reason why my life has changed. I said, really? I said, are you serious? She said, yeah, I've been wanting to tell you that for a long time. And things like that happen, every now and then, and it's very rewarding. I got a young man by the name of Dominic Robinson. He's a young man that I met over the years. He was one of my cab customers, and he decided he wanted to go to college and blah, blah, blah. And him and I kind of connected, and he had some rough times in college, and he called me one time, and I helped him out, sent him a few dollars, whatever. But it didn't work out for him. But he came back to Atlantic City with the ambition of being an entrepreneur, and he always looked up to me. And I always wanted to take, a young person like that and encourage him. And now he started his own cleaning company. He hasn't quite gotten it off the ground, but he's in a program that I helped to facilitate with the city of Atlantic City, a small business program that's actually supposed to start on the 24th of this month. And unfortunately, due to this coronavirus, it may be put off, but it guided him into a position where he feels like, okay, my life is starting to change because he's able to be in a different circle and network with different individuals that he never was really had opportunity. A friend of mine, Jimmy Whitehead, has a radio show that him and I host together. It's his show, and I'm a co-host with him called the Jimmy Whitehead Power Hour. We do this every Monday on 88.7. And I had Dominic with me one day at the station because I told him, come on, let's go to the station. So he sits in the corner. I said, sit here. You can say something if you want to say something, But the whole time he didn't say much like I thought he would. But when the show was over, he said, man, it's the first time I've ever been in a radio station. I said, really? He said, yeah. I said, oh, wow, I never knew that. He said, man, this feels crazy. I said, yeah, man, get used to this. This is how we do it, baby. This is it, So things like that, just being able to expose our people to things that they normally wouldn't get exposed to, that's where I am now with business. I feel like I reached a point where my kids are all grown. My kids are out of the house. I don't have to worry about keeping a roof over my head as much as I used to because it doesn't cost me as much because my children are gone, and it's just my wife and I now. And so I feel like I can have that time to do things other than just work. So that's why you see me politically involved and community actively involved, because I feel like life can't be all about just work and money. And at some point we got to kind of find that balance. And I feel like I found that where I can have a balance between work and giving back and just being, more actively involved in a multitude of things rather than just being involved in just my cab business. And fortunately, it's been working out for me. I'm excited just to have an opportunity to be able to do things that I want to do, and I'm just looking forward to continuously growing. We talked about streams of income before, you and I. I've created 3 streams of income now. With my transportation business and my auto repair business and my tax preparation business. And I'm working on a 4th stream of income now. And I just feel like it's exciting just doing things, and sometimes my wife looks at me like I'm crazy because, some days I'm doing all 3 things. I start off working on the car, and then I'm doing somebody's taxes, then I'm driving at night, and she's looking at me like, what the hell? And I'm just happy that I have a chance to do things. And that to me is important. We got to stay busy. And one of my cousins used to say to me a long time ago, he said, businessman, stay busy. Stays busy. If you're a businessman, you stay busy.
Everybody put in the comments, so I'm happy to be here. Happy to be here, man. Once you guys understand, earlier today we was reading a little proverb, and it said that that a cheerful countenance is good for the health. It's good for your health. I'm happy to be here. Cheerful countenance is good for your health.
Is that what I'm giving you?
No, that was well. That's what you're giving me when you said that. But that was something we read earlier. It was our proverb of the day.
Okay.
Countenance makes good health, which on the flip side of that means that if you're unhappy, you're disgruntled, you're stressed out, you're worried, you're in fear. That don't attribute to good health. So how we think and how we feel has a lot to do with how we feel, right?
I agree.
But Mr. Brown, let me ask you this, man, because again, I know you're not, you're my elder. I mean, you're actually not my elder. What's my good word? You're a brother.
Your OG.
My OG, right? But I do want to get your take on this thing called the internet, right? You was talking a little bit about it earlier, and I've been really pushing people like, hey, do you see where we're going, where we're headed, or do you have foresight? And one of the things that I've come to understand is that many of us simply don't look ahead, just for our own life, for our own family, for our own finances in the world. Just look ahead. Where are we going? As you hear that, and you're saying, man, look at what has been developed over time and what you've seen over time and where we are right now. You're at home in New Jersey. I'm in Decatur, Georgia, and we're still connecting. And although we might be needing to quarantine or isolate ourselves, we're still able to get a message out and make a difference. Like, look at where we are, but also, where do you think we're going? And so I've been telling people, man, I really believe that everybody should have their own home-based business some type of way. You're just selling something online some type of way, because we see retail going out of business. We see more online stores being a thing. We see e-commerce coming up. We see automation coming up. All these things that if you just pay attention, everybody putting console pay attention, that if you pay attention, you can see where the world is going. And you can make the necessary adjustments in your own life so that you can be relevant.
That's a very good point, Evan, and that is also part of my evolution, because you are absolutely correct. And I just had this conversation with a friend of mine last night about that in business, you do have to look 5, 10, 15, 10 years, 20 years down the road and be able to envision things. Because when this Uber and Lyft service became to the forefront, that's another thing that guided me to change, because I realized, okay, if the market is going to be changing and I'm not ahead of that curve where I'm changing with the market, then I'm going to be either forced out of business or I'm going to be stuck somewhere. So in order for me to change, in order for me to grow, I have to look at what other areas of business that is available, and once like I said, I looked at the fact that I've been in transportation for 28 years. I've literally stood over my mechanic's back for 28 years. And initially when I started, I was actually fixing my own cars because I couldn't afford a mechanic. But once things got a little better for me, I got away from working on my own cars. And that's another thing, there's a word in Swahili called Sankofa. And I always try to remember this word, because I learned this word over 20 years ago. And Swahili, it means return to the source, and it's like to go back to the beginning or something of that nature, and to me, that's why I always take myself. I say, you always have to return to the source. So the point I'm making is, it's good to go back to where you started sometimes, because sometimes we forget where we started and not realizing that where we started is really what got us where we are. And sometimes we can do some of those same things that we started with, and it can actually work. So we have to be willing to do those things. So,
and that's very, very interesting. Everybody put it down, so saying Kofa. That's, this is just so prophetic, brother Brock, because that's actually what happened for me this morning.
Get out of here.
Yeah, let me tell you. So last night, this morning, because for me as a content creator, as a public figure, as I don't know, whatever, I was like,
as a man of many means.
Yeah, how can I really, really, really help people, especially dealing with fear? How can I help them fortify their faith? And I said, okay, well, what did I do to fortify my faith, right? And in doing, I said, what I did? I just read a proverb a day. So today was the first day I got back to reading proverb a day for the public to say, hey, maybe y'all not gonna read, I'll read it for you. Y'all tune in.
There you go. Exactly.
So today's the 17th. We went through Proverbs chapter 17, And you know, normally I have about 5 people tune in, but I have about 15 people tune in. It's very
Wow. Wow.
but it was just, I said, you know what? We're gonna get back to the basics because I believe a proverb they'll keep broken stupid away.
I remember you was doing that too. I remember when you was reading those proverbs.
Yeah. So
Yeah, I remember you were doing that.
Oh man,
Yeah.
it's been a minute.
Yeah. I remember you used to do that. I remember you used to read that every day you had one. I remember you did it for a long time too. You would break it down every time too. Yeah, I remember that. You was reading the laws of attraction and everything to us. What they call it, 48 laws of power or something like that. Yeah, you was breaking all that stuff down to us. Like each day you would break down a different part of that book or whatever. So that's really truly what it is. You know, sometimes we get away from where we started, and there's a lot of information still there we can really utilize. And so you know, it's overall, you know, I just look at life as a fun thing. You know, we're only here for a short period of time, and I think it's best that we can make the most of whatever that we have is with that time. And especially when you're given the blessing of having that time, because most people are stuck in their jobs and they can't figure out a way to get out of that rut. But when you get the opportunity that life can put you in a position where you can kind of control your own destiny, I don't think you should squander that. You know what I mean? I think that's very important that you utilize that time, because some people, you would almost call it behind bars when they're locked up, you know, in the job, they're behind bars. They on the inside wishing they can be out here doing what we do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And sometimes you get comfortable, you know, because, you know, you have that ability, but we can't get comfortable. You know, you have to really be vigilant and steadfast and continue to work hard, regardless if you don't have a boss or not, you know?
Well, Brother Rock, what we're going to do now, man, you mentioned Uber, so I think we'll take a look at Uber today. We're going to take a look at the market to see what's going on. Everybody's running around scared like the sky's falling. And I think we'll take a look at Uber, but then also some important stuff that has happened, that the Federal Reserve has actually jumped in, and they're looking to make sure a lot of wealthy people don't go broke. So
Yeah, that was interesting, right? How they did that, you know, how they injected that capital into the market, and you know, and then, but you know, you get a lot of people complaining about Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren's plans, and I know there's a big, you know, issue, you know, because you know I'm politically active, and in my community, and I think we should all be politically active, and that's another thing I want to talk about that too, because I'm finding that in our community as African Americans, it's almost like we've been taught to downplay the politics in our community. You know, where they say you don't talk about religion and politics, and I'm starting to see that as a bad result for us now, because they've ingrained that in our heads so much that we've gotten to the point where we don't even pay attention to what's going on within our system and our politics and our communities and in the government. And a lot of times decisions are being made that affect us, but we don't really even know that it's going on. So,
yeah.
Go ahead.
That's the reason why this show is being created. So it's the money and power. So I have not found very many people as of yet that are really into politics to be able to share some of that stuff. So I definitely, as you are ingrained in that arena, I definitely want to bring you back on the political side and talk to us a little bit about that as well. I mean, from the stuff that you've been learning and in your own, I guess, local area, but then things you probably have been picking up from the national and even global level. So,
let me tell you something what's going on in my town right now, which is really, really, really important that the people need to hear it, especially Black people. Okay, what's happening in my town? Atlantic City was at one point 60 to 70% African American, thriving Black businesses here, with over 400 Black-owned businesses at one point. Now you can literally count on probably one or two hands how many Black businesses we have in Atlantic City. Okay, literally 5 or 10, 20 businesses at the most. And so things have kind of changed economically with the casino industry coming in. And over the years, the past 20 or 30 years, there's been an evolution with the casino industry, and people become more workers rather than business owners as African Americans. And then, as you know, as the city improves, there's gentrification. So as gentrification comes in, with gentrification comes, people want to change the government. And a lot of times it's outside people that don't have a real interest in the local people. They're just looking at the financial aspects of the city and what they can gain exponentially. So me being a person that's, been living here most of my life and, pay attention and born and raised here, these people come in, they want to put forth a referendum, right? And what they did was they went around to the black community, okay, and got them to sign a petition. But they told the people that they're going to make the city better and rid crime and make the streets better or what have you. And the people agreed, but not knowing that what they were agreeing to was a change in our total form of government. And with that change of government, their total rights to be able to file petitions, referendums, or anything of that nature would be eliminated, which they never explained that to them, as well as they lose the right to elect their own mayor. They will be appointed by a group of people. The mayor will be appointed by a group of elected people, and 3 out of 5 people can make that decision who the mayor is. Then they're going to hire a business administrator that doesn't live in Atlantic City, that can live over 50 or 100 miles away, and he gets tenure for life after 3 years. So this is something that they're doing, and the people weren't even aware that this was going on. So that's probably why you see me on social media acting a fool, because I've been really going out and trying to educate our people, because like I said, with this political thing, they've taught us to not pay attention, and the people have come in and taken advantage of that. And to me, that's why I'm really upset about it, because it's almost as if they sat back, they watched us and said, these people aren't even paying attention. We could do whatever we want because they don't even care about politics. And this is how they got in. So now we're fighting because they've got it to put it on a ballot, to put it to vote for the community on an off-time election time. They don't even have it during an election time. They're having it in an off period where people are not even paying attention to nothing. And then they're it's just all crazy, man. I'm just really upset about that. But this can happen to any community. So this is the thing that people need to understand. Just because it's happening here, we could be the test pilot for the whole country, because you never know what people's ulterior motives are. And this country in this world is operating in a bubble almost, where everybody's kind of doing the same thing. You know what I mean? So you got to be careful.
Yeah, and absolutely, and I'm glad you shared that with us, because again, this is the reason why I created this, to do this, because as you mentioned, politics. There's 3 particular areas that are taboo. Let's say we've been conditioned, or we just accept not to question. Don't question religion. Don't question politics. And don't question money or finance.
Exactly. That's the 3rd one. Exactly.
So
don't talk about your money to nobody. Don't talk about no money. Don't tell your left hand what your right hand's doing. Now, to me, that's the stupidest thing that we could do in a household, is keep our finances away from each other. Because really, when you're in a household and you're managing money, the money should be managed together as a family. So that's why a lot of us are so much financial trouble, because we've been taught, don't talk about your money. So now you bring that same mentality into your own household, and you don't even want to talk to your husband or wife or your girlfriend or whoever about your money. And now she gets in financial trouble, and you're not even aware of it. And now you're forced to try to bail her out when you're not really in a strong position because you wasn't prepared. And now everything could fall apart because the relationship gets rough and rugged when the money ain't right, right? They say ain't no money with no honey with no money.
No honey with no money. So we got these 3 areas, man. You know what I'm saying? And so, what I'm looking to do here is to tackle 2 of them. I lead a religion. I do that on my personal stuff. Y'all know, I go in a religion.
Hey, you choose your own platform. That's the only thing. You pick your own poison, baby.
Yeah. But over here, it's money and power. It's money, it's economics, and it's politics. And so I'm glad that we got a brother here that's actually in wind of some things that's going on in politics. But as you said, though, you said, pay attention. We're talking about reading the fine line, right? Going details, man. And so, and also you said, when I heard that story, the first thing that came to my head was control. It's all about control. It's all about control. You control the people, control their mind,
control the money.
Control the money.
So you hit it right on the head. That means that you nailed it right there. That's what it is in a nutshell. It's control. It's nothing but a power grab, and they're trying to sell it as a change. But one of the things that I'm telling the people is, people aren't infallible. So regardless of what you change the government to, the people are still people. So there's no way you can stop people from being people. So I don't care what type of government you have, the people, you can still get crooks wherever you go. So they're trying to sell it as if this new change is going to change everything and all the streets are going to be paved in gold and there's not going to be any more problems, when reality is Donald Trump is a prime example. Prior to him was George Bush. And regardless of whatever president we put in there, they still aren't infallible. So this is just human nature to get in and screw up and do things that aren't what we anticipated. You understand what I'm saying? And there's no way to control that. You can't control that until the damage is done a lot of times.
Absolutely. Let me go get a little bit of news we can use real quick, Brother Brock. I know we're going to keep on going, but I do want people to see kind of what's happened, right? So last night, let me get into this real quick. And I know you got some insight on this as well. We had, in case you guys don't know, the market was down terribly yesterday, but look at this first page. We got an overnight rally. So although everybody keep thinking that the market is going to zero for some type of reason, we have an overnight rally. So I want you guys to understand there's going to be a roller coaster going sideways. Everybody put it down for a roller coaster. There's going to be a roller coaster going sideways. One day it's up, one day it's down. One day it's up, one day it's down. Right? New news come out. New speeches from the president come out. Roller coaster going sideways. Everybody put it down on a roller coaster. Now, what am I advising you to do right now? It's two things. Number one, hold, which means that if you're not in the market, don't get in the market. If you're in the market, stay where you're at. But the biggest thing I need you to do right now is start to research. You need to be building up a watch list, watching the wonderful, great companies that provide products and services to the community that represent your area that you live in, that you absolutely love. And then as you watch these things for quite a while, probably over the they say that we got a travel ban for 30 days. That's a good indication, 30 days. They said they're going to be out of school for 3 weeks. That's a good indication, 21 days. So you got 21 days to form a habit of watching wonderful, great companies that provide products and services to your community in which you live, that you buy. And because in 21 to 30 days, you're going to have an opportunity to strike. In 21 to 30 days, you got an opportunity to save up. In 21 to 30 days, you got an opportunity to put yourself in position to win, to change the dynamics of your life, your family's life, forever. You must understand this, or at least try to understand it, or come to class and keep showing up. I'll keep preaching it because I'm the finance preacher. Okay? Overnight rally. So today we can expect a good day in the market. For all you option traders out of there, all y'all silly short-term traders, you can expect a good day in the market. Okay? You can expect a good day today. What I wanted to capture as well, though, Brother Brock, we got all these. I can't go over all the headlines I would normally go over because I want to make sure we give Brock enough time. So again, yesterday we saw a 12% drop. Yesterday we're going to see a good rally today. Okay, it's going to be a good day today.
Well,
right?
I'm glad, Evan. You know that you touched on that, on how you and I met, and that is one of the things that I love about you, man. Your knowledge of finance and your encouragement in that area is one of your greatest assets. And the fact that you're willing to share the information is very important, and it's key that you continue to do that, because that's how you and I connected, you know, and I'm sure you connected with thousands of other people since you and I connected, but I really love you for that, man. I really love the fact that you understand the power of money and economics, and that you said you're a financial preacher. Is that what you call yourself?
Yeah, I'm Black Moses, man. I'm telling debt to let my people go.
I like that. I like that. That's original. I like that.
It's interesting that you said that, Brother Rob, because I had a family member call me this morning. And you know, they say, I can't believe that you're still talking to people about money.
Really?
Listen. When they need to be getting their spiritual stuff together. And you know, my response was, I know what I've been called to do. Everybody putting counsel, I know what I've been called to do. I know what I've been called to do. I stay in my lane. God has called me to teach you about money, so every day I'm going to teach you about money.
That's right. That's right.
That's my lane.
And listen, I can't, that is your calling, man. You do that so well. I mean, I haven't seen, in the time that I've known you, you're, to me, I could probably name the people that I've come across, you know, you, Boyce Watkins, Jay Morrison, I mean, there's only several brothers I can just call off the top of my head that's been consistently saying the same thing almost every single day. You understand what I'm saying? So you've been doing that as far as concerned, and I know you've gotten through a lot of people, including myself. So I'm encouraged by you, man, all the time. So even though you might not hear me hit the like button or see me say anything to you, believe me, I'm still impressed with your books and all the things that you've done since you left corporate America and how you stayed true to whatever your ideal was, is why you left the corporate America, and the fact that you were able to make that work is very encouraging, man. And people, anybody that's listening to you and following you, they should be very encouraged when they listen to someone like yourself, because you took that, what they call a giant leap of faith, and to go out on your own, and you somehow are making it work for yourself. So that's always going to be encouraging to me, and I'm sure many, many other people that follow you definitely. Yes, she's right. That's right, Monica. That's right. So, but getting back to the market, because you wanted to touch a little bit on that market thing, and excuse me, I got a little allergy, and you were talking about that, and that goes back to when the housing bubble burst. Okay, it's the same. It's almost like the same scenario. The market builds, but the market can't sustain itself that way, because you have to have losers and winners. It's like you said, it's a roller coaster ride sideways. I like that too analogy. It's going to go up and it's going to go down, and you just have to be prepared. So when it does go down, that's the time. They call it the bullish and bear market. You have to understand that there's two different markets. The bear market, bull market. So you want to get in when the opportunity is right, and you follow, like you said, certain trends and certain items and things that you like or you see that can happen. Like even with this coronavirus, there's money to be made in the stock market behind that. There's money to be made on the sales of certain items that are running off the shelves right now that these companies can't keep stock of. And these are things that the market still supports. It's not like the stock market just disappears because the economy gets bad. These companies are still there. Some of them lose, but for the most part, most of the larger companies are still there, and there's an opportunity to buy their shares sometimes at a lower market price, and that's when you should really be looking at that, because when the market drops down and then runs back up again another 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 points, that's where you've made your money. A lot of people don't understand that, but that's really the way it works. They say you buy low and sell high, and that's pretty much the way it works.
Absolutely. We have Goldman Sachs saying, hey, United States stocks could plunge another 16%. That might be the highlight. But look at this, before rapidly recovering.
Right, because they're not going to let the market slide. This is America. We live in a capitalistic society. They cry they don't have the money, but the money is there. Just like you said, when they interjected that $1.5 trillion into the from the Treasury into the market, they cry they don't have money to pay for health insurance, can't free people's college tuitions. But let that money start going down, and somehow they find money for it in one day, and everything is okay the next day for them.
For them, right?
For them.
So we do see some companies that did fairly well yesterday, although the market was down 12%. Clorox did okay. They had a 4% increase yesterday, even though the market was down 12%.
That's because everybody going around rubbing every Clorox on every daggone thing.
Right? Kroger company had an okay day yesterday, although the market was going down. What, J.W. Smucker? I guess a lot of people making peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. They did okay. Right? Hormel Foods. A lot of people want them canned sausages and stuff. I mean, come on now.
Yeah, because they thinking they're going to be some type of Armageddon, so they buying non-perishable goods and stacking them in the cabinets up to the ceiling. So, they can't keep it on the shelf long enough, and then people going to be look back a couple of months and say, what are we going to do with all these Vienna sausages? We thought we were going to be sitting in the house eating.
Here's the deal, guys. This is what I really wanted to cover. I want to make sure y'all see 4 big weapons to fight the coronavirus. The Fed. Right now, the 4 big weapons is not vaccines and the stuff you can put in your arm. Is not medication. That's not the 4 big weapons they talking about to fight. Do you see this headline? The Fed. Therefore,
I love the way you put the information out there too. You do it so casually and with such knowledge, but it's so casual knowledge that if you pay attention to what you're saying, but you dropping jewels on the people all the time. It's always you constantly dropping jewels on them all the time. So you just got you the type brother. You better listen to everything he's saying, word for word. I think you understand the words coming out of my mouth. Listen to the words coming out of his mouth, ladies and gentlemen. Because believe when Evan is talking, he's talking fast and he's saying a lot of stuff. You better either be taking notes or listening close because he's telling you some good stuff. Believe when I tell you, you're right about that. They said the Fed's what they say? The Fed
broke out
four biggest weapons.
All right, fight runs. Their first weapon that they brought out. The first weapon is something that you use to destroy something, to hurt something. A weapon. The first weapon they got. Near zero interest rates. This is the Fed's weapon. This is the Fed's artillery. This is the Fed's first gun, first shot.
Wow.
Near zero interest rates. That's a Federal Reserve weapon. Interest rates.
And you know what? Now listen, let's touch on that a little bit because this is a key component to the whole process that we've been talking about. Interest rates, because this is a great time for refinancing. So anybody that has a pretty good income, pretty steady income, I should say, and the interest rate is kind of high or whatever compared to what the market is today, this will be a great time to refinance some of your loans and some of your debts or what have you. So these are key things that we need to be focused on to understand there's a reason why they're lowering those interest rates. They're not just doing it and saying it's a weapon. It's a weapon, but it's a weapon that could be used to make the situation in your finances better.
Well, yes, with strategy, right? So that just means that right, it's a great time to borrow, a bad time to lend.
Right.
A great time to borrow, a bad time to lend. Now, of course, if you're going to borrow, that means you want to be a responsible borrower. Everybody putting counsel be responsible, right? You got tax returns coming back. You got great time to borrow. They understand that if you borrowing, and they making money off your money that you borrow, right? Off the interest that you're gonna pay back. So they say it's a great time to borrow, which for the unresponsible is bad. For the irresponsible is pretty stupid. Not good. Not good for the irresponsible. For you to go further into debt and then more debt and then more debt, because now you might look at borrowing more than you need to. How many guys know that could be a problem? You borrow more than you need to. You don't have a strategy for that which you borrow. Here's my question to you. If you do borrow, why are you borrowing? If you do refinance, why are you refinancing? How far are you into the mortgage that you currently have? What's the current rate that you're paying versus the rate that you quite possibly could get? Do you have a strategy, a plan to it, or are you just going to do it because it's a great time? Not good, right? You don't get rich by hope. You get rich by plan. Do you have a plan? If you don't have a plan, well, you got two money men right here that can kind of help you develop a plan. I know Brother Brock help people with business plans and stuff. He got a tax preparer and help you with a tax plan, quite possibly.
Absolutely, that's what I do, and that goes back to that think ahead thing because I had my sister-in-law and her husband. I was doing their taxes about 2 weeks ago, and she just recently opened up her own hair salon, and she came in, and she had all these receipts, all nice and put together in a nice file thing. And I'm looking at it and I said, now think about this. I said, you just started your business in October or November. So technically you spent all that money on all that stuff, but now you want to come in here and deduct it off of an income that you didn't really earn because you've been out of work for half the year. I said, don't you think that you will really want to technically start your business next year and deduct those deductions next year, and then going forward you can deduct more of those deductions, and then that way you can get more bang for your buck because you don't know what your income's going to be going forward. So you're trying to take all that stuff now, it's not going to help you when you're going to need it down the road. So we got to think about things like that. So you're right, you always want to think ahead. You everybody wants that immediate gratification, but what's going to happen down the road sometimes impacts us more. So we got to really always be thinking about that.
Number two weapon, a bond buying spree, right? So had time to lend. The Federal Reserve went and started buying up their own bonds. Or actually, as you guys don't know, the Federal Reserve is a different organization than banks, right? So they start buying up the bonds of the banks because ain't nobody buying bonds right now because it ain't a good time to lend. So they got a bond program which is meant to keep financial markets functioning smoothly. It's called quantitative easing.
Mm-hmm.
Quantitative easing, 200, right, and at least 200 billion in mortgage-backed securities. Look at this. It plans to purchase hundreds of billions of dollars in bonds, specifically at least 500 billion in U.S. treasuries and at least 200 billion in mortgage-backed securities. That's the second weapon. The third weapon, cheap global access to U.S. dollars. U.S. dollar ain't worth as much as it used to be, so they got to make sure it's cheap for other people to have access to it. Right? They announced an effort with other central banks. Look at that. Other central banks. Bank of Canada, Bank of England, the Bank of Japan, the European Central Bank, and the Swiss National Bank. How many guys know all central banks work together? And they might put a different name on it. They may call it the Bank of England, but it's still all really one bank. One system underneath a system that we don't know nothing about. To make it cheaper for banks around the world to borrow U.S. dollars. Isn't that interesting? That's their third weapon. All of these are financial weapons to fight a coronavirus, which is a physical, disease. I don't see nothing about no medicine. And then fourth, backed up loans for banks. Right here, how many guys know the banks are too big to fail? Too big to fail. So the Fed's gonna step in and save the banks. They're probably gonna step in and save the airlines, or they're gonna call those American people to do that. Right? These are their weapons to fight the coronavirus, but these ain't weapons to cure or to save or to remove or to anything like that. It's got something to do with money.
Well, this whole coronavirus, to me, in my opinion, has some it's all financially based. I believe that this is something that was done by China, because they were big, and the fact that they're proven to be so far ahead of the situation, and the fact that they were prepared. To me, it's almost like, it's like starting a fight and then 20 people come from around the corner and jump the person because they had those people waiting around the corner. You know what I mean? It's like they knew this was going to happen. So that's why they were so able to cure it in their country so fast, because their whole thing, to me, and this is just based off some of the information I've been reading and checking out online, that there's a what they call it, what do they call it with Donald Trump? They got this war where they
Trade war?
Huh?
Trade war?
Trade war. Yeah, trade war. And this trade war, there's China is mad at Donald Trump for forcing their hand in something, and it created a situation. So now they're screwing up our market, our economy, and this is like paybacks for whatever Donald Trump and these people were negotiating behind the scenes. So we're paying. There's a payback to America and the rest of the country, because when you look at the countries that are being affected by this, most of the countries are together, so to speak, aligned with the United States. Like you said earlier, what happened with Russia? Why isn't there cases? Why isn't there coronavirus in Russia? Why isn't there coronavirus over
in Canada?
Right,
Mexico.
Right, in Dubai and countries like that, where you have billions of people and these people aren't being affected by this stuff. So there's question.
Africa. Ain't nothing going on in Africa.
And then you look at what the investment that China has in Africa at this time. They have a very heavy hand in Africa at this time. So it wouldn't be to their financial interest to hurt themselves in that department. So there's some gray areas when you look at this whole coronavirus thing. So, and I'm not one that's running around being afraid. I'm just telling people, don't make jokes of it. Just protect yourself and understand that whatever the case may be, whether it's conspiracy or whatever it is, that's fine. You want to use that. Don't allow those conspiracies to allow you to let your guards down, and don't protect you and your family for whatever they're trying to do. And that's my main goal when I talk about this stuff. It's not that I'm, I want people to, be afraid, because sometimes people say, man, you're scaring people. No, it's not about scaring. You're not scaring people.
There's a difference between, there's a difference between fear and wisdom, right? And so, if to be armed with knowledge, here's the thing, guys. I just tell people, just think. That's it. That's the biggest problem, that most people just simply won't think. They say, okay, what's going on? So here's what we understand. And you tell me you agree or disagree, people. Here's what we understand. China is a major manufacturing, country.
American goods, right?
Just period, just manufacturing. So in order for you and I to experience the luxuries and the things that we like, most of us like, we typically are consuming what China produces. It's called a supply chain. So when there's a disruption between, okay, I'm China, I'm importing to the wealthiest land in the wealthiest place in the world, who buys up all the stuff because they're the biggest consumers in the world, and now you're gonna tax me on that when we've been doing free trade for over 2 decades, but your new regime now wants to tax me on that because you want to make America great again. You messing with our money. How would you feel about that? Somebody come in, you've been dealing with some business for a little while, Derek Brock, and all of a sudden the new regime come in and like, okay, Derek Brock, we're gonna change your contract. The rent going up.
And that goes into me. That's the political side. That's because I'm being a political person that I am. That's the political side to this because they know that this is an election year, right? They know that Donald Trump's been screaming what? America is the best thing ever, economy ever, the best economy, best economy. So now when they throw that monkey wrench into saying this the best economy, what happens? The economy tanks. Now the people turn their backs against the Republican Party, and what we end up doing? Electing another Democrat. We spend another 48 years getting nothing done, and we elect another Republican, and the cycle continues. I don't know what to do.
I can continue.
I don't have the answer. I don't know what the answer is. That's the only thing. I don't have the answer. It takes geniuses to figure that out.
Yeah, but here's the deal. The answer can be found as long as we continue looking for it.
Okay.
And that's the difference, right? It's just saying, hey, man, at least there are people who are looking for answers because you find looking for, right?
I like that. I like that.
So the answer will come. And the answer is not answering the thing for everybody else. The answer is, okay, what do I need to do? What's my next chess move? What do I need to do? What do I need to prepare myself and prepare my people and prepare my community and prepare, you know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, Brother Brock, I ain't in China. I ain't in Russia. You know what I'm saying? It's good to know all that stuff, but at the end of the day, I got to deal with Decatur, Georgia, right? I got to deal with South DeKalb. I got to deal with Atlanta before I get all the way out there. So chess, not checkers. So
that's right, brother. You're right, though, man. You're always nailing it, man. I know you put me on here to talk, but I like to hear you talk. That's why I get quiet when you start talking because I want to hear what you got to say. Because you're always nailing it, man. And chess, not checkers, is really the way you got to look at it. That's pretty much the way I look at it. I don't live my life in fear. That's the key. You don't live in fear because you have no control over pretty much a lot of things. So this coronavirus is just one thing that we don't have control over. There's a lot of things that a storm could come in the middle of this and change things too, a big flood or a hurricane or tornado or whatever. We don't have control over things. So we have to live our lives, like you said, where we don't be concerned about what's happening way in China. We pay attention, but try to focus on what's going on right there in front of you too, because that really affects you more, on a day-to-day basis. That's what really affects you.
Absolutely, man. So, guys, man, I'm kind of come back to Uber another time because we just don't have that kind of time on the show today.
Yeah, I'm sorry I took up a lot of time, brother, but
no, this is you know what I'm saying. It's it's called being worth it, man. We value the time. If we ain't get to it, it'll still be there tomorrow.
I was gonna run out of things to say, but I guess that's not the key.
that never happens when we get together, brother. That never happens. We got business, we got politics, we got the community, we got so much. We ain't even exhausted half. Nowhere, we ain't even 10% through our conversation we gotta have.
Well, it's always a pleasure. It's always a pleasure to be on with you. I love the fact that you touch on the key points, money and power, and and the fact that you stay consistent with that, because that's important when you're giving a message. You don't want to be all over the place. You want to be consistent in your messaging, and you have done that, and I commend you on that. I don't know what all those jackets and stuff you got behind you, but you always got something to sell, looks like, behind you. You got all that stuff, but you're always selling something, boy. I just love it. I love your spirit. I love your entrepreneurial spirit. I love what you do. I love the fact that you give back to the people. And again, like I told you earlier, you're a true inspiration. Don't let nobody tell you to stop talking about money, because I love the fact I can come on here every now and then and hear what you talk about, some money and power and sharing information. And And you've met some of my friends over the years. Some of my friends have become your Facebook friends and followed you. And we've had conversations. I said, yeah, man, you need to follow. Yeah, I got Evan. Yeah, he's one of my friends too. So to me, that's important that you're touching the people around me as well. So, it's good, man. I'm happy for you, man. And continue to do what you're doing. My platform isn't as large as yours, but you may see me as a mentor to you, but you're a mentor to me. And I follow some of the things that you do, and you as well. You probably follow some of the things that I do, and we just put our own little spin on them. But overall, we have the people's interests at heart, and I think that's what's important.
Absolutely, man. The people's interest at heart, man. Again, Brother Brock, thanks so much for taking the time. I know it's short notice, but you showed up. And we're using technology, beautiful people. We're using technology to keep connected, to stay connected. We may need to isolate ourselves or quarantine ourselves or whatever to protect, to be
safe. Follow me on Facebook too, y'all. If y'all listen, whoever's listening, I'm Derek Brock. Look for me on Facebook. I got a video that went viral. Did you see it? I said I got like over 1,000 views. I raised hell about something in my community, and it went viral. And I almost felt embarrassed about it. People say, "Oh man, I'm so happy to see." I said, "Listen, if I want to go viral for something, that ain't what I want to go viral for, cussing, all that profanity and carrying on." But it was passionate, and it was a concern that I had. But it's just stick with me, guys. Follow me and support me because I'm supporting you. So if you're listening to me on Facebook or whatever this platform is that Evans got me on, I just want you guys to remain steadfast in whatever your goals are and your dreams are. You can achieve them. You may not. And Donnie Simpson used to always say, he said, you can shoot for the moon. He said, but if you miss, at least you'll be amongst the stars. And that's always been my position. You could be up there somewhere. So don't give up and know that there's opportunity and possibility.
Know that there's opportunity and possibility, man. Hey, there, Brock, thanks so much for being here, guys. This is the Money and Power Show, man, where we're talking about money and power, economics, politics, all that good stuff, man, and the financial education station for the nation, man. Show up each and every morning, 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time to get some free financial education.
Man, that's too early for me.
The early bird gets the worm, man. The early bird gets the worm.
Well, you've been your own boss for 28 years. It's hard to get up early, I dread the day if I have to go get a job, man. I was like, man, I don't know if I can show up every day.
All right, my beautiful people, man. Thanks.
Okay, been a pleasure, guys.
Hitting that share button, all the good stuff. I want you guys to remember this, that it takes a village. It starts with us. Let's build as we climb together. We all we got, beautiful people. Matter of fact, we all we need. And thank God. I mean, seriously, thank God, number one, that you're still here, but thank God that that's more than enough. Until next episode, you know what time it is. Mr. DJ, hit the music.
The new Black Wall Street. Thank you for joining the show. We give a lot of great tips, but it's time to go. Take the knowledge we shared, hope you use it and grow.
I love it.
All there with the next episode of the new Black Wall Street. The new Black Wall Street.